What is up, guys? And for today's video we're going to be doing something new with some blue crabs. But first, if you're new to this channel and this is your first time maybe seeing one of my videos, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any good new content that I put out. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting by washing off the crabs and pretty much any basic like cleaning shellfish, but you just want to make sure there's no gills or anything, any more mouth parts or anything like that. You just want all meat, legs, and claws. So I do that, dispose of the bag, just make sure they're all clean. Once I do that, everything's fine. We can start to season and prep them. So when I season them, I used Old Bay, pepper, paprika, and adobo, which are pretty much my basic seafood seasonings. I don't always use them, but that's mostly what I'm going to use. And then after that, once you have seasoned them, you can, well, I did, but it's optional for you. I let them sit in the fridge overnight to kind of absorb some of that flavor. Now that I think about it, I probably could have put a little bit of ginger in it. That probably would have helped it a little bit. But you can refrigerate it. I put it in there overnight, so around 8 to 12 hours. Pretty much any basic time for letting something sit, but you know, it's all personal preference. So if you don't really want to season it or let it sit, you can just cook it right away and then just get on with it. So now we're gonna move on to the next day. Well, no, not the next day. I put it in the fridge first. And then, well, yeah, like I said, refrigerate for 8 to 12 hours. And once you get past that, if you did it, it's all pretty much personal preference, but the rest of this video is just how I did it. So I'm gonna explain it. The next day, I woke up. I didn't realize it was so early in the morning, but I still cooked them anyway, and I made a crab dip. So I took the crabs out, and I'm trying something new. I'm gonna saute them today, so I'm going to cut them down so they're not as big and it's not as much work for the whole rest of the catch and cook. So they've been sitting overnight to absorb the flavor, and then, like I said, I'm just gonna cut them up to make them easier to deal with. And I was gonna take off the claws, but I decided not to. I would wait till later to that, and I'll tell you guys why. So, taking them out of the bag, I put them on the cutting board, getting ready to cut them. Then I just start cutting them. It's as simple as that. Cut them right down the middle. Like I said, personal preference. You may like them the other way, but this is the way I did it. So, cut them in half. Once I did that, it was pretty much just time to put them in the pot, so I heated up some chicken broth, the seasonings from earlier, the same seasonings, a little bit of dried onions, and I should have put in some garlic, but I didn't have any at the moment. And then I just took some butter and put it in there, let the butter melt down, let it come to a simmer, and then once it comes to a simmer, I'm going to drop it just a little bit, and then I'm going to put the crabs in it. So once you get those in the pot or skillet or whatever you're using, you're going to put them in there and let them cook for about 3 minutes on both sides, because these crabs, they weren't too big. They were actually probably about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in width. So it didn't take that long to cook them. Most crabs probably will take less than 10 minutes to cook. So after that, I took them out and drained them. And then I'm gonna make a crab gravy, if you will, that will go into the dip later to give it that seafood flavor. So I'm just gonna take some all-purpose flour, bleached, unbleached, whatever. I'm just gonna whisk it down until it gets thick, and then I'm gonna let it simmer down until it's a thick glaze. I added 1 little packet of sugar because it was a little salty, but the sugar didn't really help, so I put a few more in just to get that flavor. So once they're done, I let them cool, and now I'm cracking them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the claws off and the legs. I'm not going to do anything with the legs because the crabs are honestly too small to even try and deal with the legs. So I'm going to save the claws for later, and out of the body, I'm going to separate it, go through all the chambers, and I'm going to find the meat. Now for the claws, what I did was I took a knife and I scored it. A lot of them I ended up just cutting right through, but I was attempting to score it, and then once I scored it, I'll crack it, all of that good stuff, onto the meat. It went from a pile of shells to a nice little handful of meat. Now, all those crabs didn't make too much, but after I got it into a nice little dip kind of stuff, I added in my seasonings. Personal preference, you can add in whatever you want, but I like my stuff a certain way, so that's what I did. And like I said, personal preference, especially with thickness. Now, I realize I should have made it a little more chunkier, but overall, I had a few of my friends and family try it. It was 15 out of 10. It was really good, apparently. I did have it, and it tasted like something you'd buy out of a restaurant to me. So, guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm trying to get more into my fishing videos soon instead of doing my catch and cooks, because that's all I've been able to do because I haven't been able to go fishing yet. But I do have a fishing trip coming up for my birthday. So anybody with a birthday in August, you can